Unnecessary intro song to totally waste your time. All right, fine. Let's do it your way. Let's go for the conspiracy theory. I've been trying to talk sense into you, but hey, let's have some fun. Here's the conspiracy theory. Candace Owens is controlled opposition. She's a cartoon character. Rabbi Shmuley is a cartoon character. There are a number of other cartoon characters out there that are drumming up, air quotes, anti-Semitism in such a way that it gives the ADL and Jews and Israel a rational explanation, and a rational excuse. And they can point and say, see, look at all these people that hate us. They're crazy. Even putting Candace and Rabbi Shmuley together. That's a fun pairing. Two cartoon characters. But Merkley, what do you mean? She's saying true things about Israel. Yeah, she is. She is. She says lots of true things about Israel. So why is she saying things that are totally untrue about Charlie? So things that are so crazy that it's easy to dismiss her. Yeah, it's easy. See, here's what we're in. We're in a war, good versus evil. We are. And in order to win this war, you need to convince evil people to be good. You've got to bring them over to some good conservative values. You need to win over the hearts and the minds. Is Candace winning over hearts and minds? No. She's driving them away. Suddenly with Candace, we have this tremendous split amongst conservatives. They're fighting with each other. It used to be the right fighting with the left. Now it's the right fighting with the right. You know? But Merkley, come on, you got to make your case better than that. Okay, I will. Candace is making it so easy to dismiss her that it's mind-boggling that anybody's going along with it. I think the only reason is because they don't have 18 hours a day to devote to this like I do. They have jobs, they have families. She spent how many years building up trust? I trusted her so much. I thought she was great. I thought she was a champion. Go search my wall. You'll see how many times I gushed over Candace Owens. Presidential material. I'm so embarrassed about the gushing that I did for Candace Owens. You know? She convinced a lot of people to go along with her. And now, at this crucial moment, and let's not mince words here, Charlie Kirk's assassination was a turning point in history. You know? Little on the nose, I get it. But it was. And there was this tremendous draw to coalesce. The conservatives were just seeing things clearly. It's like coalescing. It couldn't get more. It's like God smacking us over the head. Look at the difference between good and evil. Just look at it. And along comes Candace. You know, it's very clear that over time, the institutions, the curriculums, the algorithms had brainwashed innocent white kids, white Christians, into believing they were evil, to the point that they went out and fought Israel's war for them, as usual, and took out somebody that presented a threat to them, a leader of a Christian movement. Oh, but he was a Zionist, Merkley. He loved Israel. Okay, let me tell you something. There is nothing more patronizing to a Jewish Zionist than a Christian Zionist. Nothing. It's so patronizing because the Christian Zionist is basically saying to the Jewish Zionist, you'll get it someday. you'll also realize that Christ was the Messiah. While the Jewish Zionist is angry. How dare you? He's not the Messiah. He's burning in hell, boiling in his own excrement. You know, it's paternal. The Christian Zionist is taking a paternal position over the leaders of the chosen tribe. You don't think they hate that? Oh, they hate it. Anyway, so there you go. You have Candace Owens. Who knows? Was she groomed the whole way along? I don't know. If she was, holy crap, 10 out of 10, you guys did a great job because I was fully sucked in. Well, not really. As soon as she started on the Blake Lively shit and the gossipy stuff, I was like, okay, I'm not interested in this stuff. But as far as her speaking truth to power and daring to say stuff against Israel, yeah, suck me in, you know? But now, she's the Charlie stuff is so absurd. Like on her program today, she's making a witness tree, which basically includes any single person who appears in social media of any kind talking about the assassination. If you're a witness and you went on TV or you made a significant Instagram post or you made any kind of thing where you saw it or witnessed or any way part of it, if you inserted yourself, as she says, as if going and witnessing the murder of a man is inserting yourself, or talking about it is inserting yourself. And of course, Candace isn't inserting herself. No. She's the queen. She's the arbiter of truth. She's not inserting herself. She's the anointed. She's been anointed by God. And you must answer her questions and submit to her interrogations, or else you're in on it. You're in on it no matter what. Her witness tree, literally just anybody. She makes a claim. She goes, oh, who is this woman? Who is this woman that apparently was in the... Turns out it was just a woman from the neighborhood walking through her neighborhood who happened to see Tyler, and the news interviews her because word gets around in a small town. You know, oh, our neighbor, what's her name? Cindy? I can't remember what her name was. Cindy ran in face to face with a guy, and she gives an interview to the TV news station, like I've done before. I've given interviews. I've been a witness before. Have you? Probably. 15 minutes of fame. You know? So she does her interview. Totally just passes with flying colors. She says, yeah, boy, you know, I noticed he was limping and he was wearing a long shirt and a hot... So it's just, you know, something that occurred to me. I thought of it. Then I went by. But now that I think about it in hindsight, wow, you know, if I would have known, this is exactly what you would think in a situation like that. But no, Candace digs. She works for the police department. Dun, dun, dun. The police department. Well, nothing she says can be trusted now. Yeah, okay. Why was she there? How did she get off work? I wanted to see her time steps. We called and they didn't return our numbers. Therefore, they're guilty. Because why, Candace? Because you're the Candace Intelligence Agency? Because what, you flashed your badge? You flashed your badge. You said, I'm Candace. She literally on her show today was like, well, why didn't these people contact me? Why haven't they contacted me for an interview? Well, first of all, you don't even do interviews. If you do, you just have them privately, and then you talk about them and say whatever you want about them on your show. You don't sit down with a camera and talk to people so that we can see them. You don't even reveal their names. But the most nefarious part of what she's doing, hear me out, this is what supports this conspiracy theory that she's controlled opposition. By making these wild accusations about these kids that live in the neighborhood, a person that lived, Tyler walked past their house. You know, this is the camera that saw him. Here's the footage. Now you're implicated. Because he walked past your house, because it's a route to the college. Because of that, you are now involved. You've inserted yourself into the case. And if you work for a company that makes valves, well, the government buys valves. And you know, if you have a bee anywhere on your body, it's like the flag, the communist, underground Polish symbolism for communism. The bee, the Utah flag. Okay, these things are so ridiculous. And accusing these kids, Shaner, who's the new one? I don't know. Just these people, this Instagram people. A person that took a picture, a selfie, where Tyler's pictures, security cam pictures were. Like this is a new thing. Not a new thing. I took a picture of me in front of the house where Kurt Cobain grew up. I do that kind of shit all the time. This is the place where XYZ happened. Hey, look at me. I'm standing on Donald Trump's Hollywood star. Oh, you. How do you know Donald Trump? Oh. Did you kill Kurt Cobain? Why is there a picture of you in front of his house? You know, it's so offensive that it gets people like me and people like everybody that knows him and people like Phil Lyman and all these nice people, these nice college students that went to school and happened to see him get murdered in front of their face. They're so offended that they fight. And then there's fighting amongst the right. You know, everybody's fighting because it's so offensive. How can you not fight it? You know, and the other people, you just don't care about truth. You don't care about truth. How dare you question Candace? All she's doing is questioning things. You have a problem with people questioning things? She's not questioning things. She's making accusations and claims and presenting no evidence. All she's doing is shitting on evidence and creating doubt. Everybody that is investigating, if you dare to do any investigation outside of Candace, well, she's going to put you on blast and you're going to be part of the Azov battalion. You know? The insane thing is I know another guy that's doing this, George Webb. You know, I'm connected to him. Never met him in true life, but I'm connected to him. And I've always had this sneaking suspicion that he's fed or not what he says he is, because he's another one of these people. He's on this other Azov battalion, ROTC, special operation, helicopters, whatever. He's Patsy. He says Patsy so often. It's like one of those things where you repeat the same word over and over and over again, and then people can't get it out of their mind. You know, he keeps going to Utah. He's not really doing any investigation. He's just walking around saying Patsy, Azov battalion, Patsy, ROTC. You know, feds are lying. Casting doubt on all the evidence that they present. So the people that are presenting evidence and saying, look, there's sensible things, she just keeps saying, who would believe? Nonsense. It's nonsense. Like Candace keeps saying, it's nonsense. You can't believe it. And I'm like, sorry, it's believable. It's plausible. Absolutely. You can keep saying it's not believable. And it's that repetition thing. These people that are watching her show, that they get their news source from her because she's built up this trust, you know. They don't have 18 hours in a day to dedicate it to it like me. Thank goodness for them, you know. And she's got them all fighting. Is she bringing people to conservatism? No. She's repelling people. She's making it very easy for people on the outside looking in to go, don't go near these nutcases. These people are crazy. I call people like her a stink agent. You know, controlled opposition. Make them look foolish. That's what I said about Q, too. You know, Q was an operation, in my opinion, to make people, to keep them busy, to give them hope, to keep them inactive, from doing the things that matter, like going to meetings, going down to the kindergarten, making sure there's not a pervert in there with the pride flag, fiddling around with your kid's brain and their genitals, you know? And then, everybody, Q didn't attract newcomers. A tremendous demoralizer too. We're waiting for the demoralizing part. These things about Candace are going to be easily proven to be ridiculous, even with the slightest bit of scrutiny and skepticism. And what does it do? It makes people like me look foolish. Retroactively, that audience building is part of it. You get a lot of people, and most people don't have my, compunction, is that a word? My ability to just turn away from things once they turn bad. Most people get invested. They say, I've promoted Candace so much. How can I say that I was wrong or that I was stupid? Well, I don't have a problem doing that. I am stupid. I am dumb. I got tricked. Okay? I didn't see this one coming. I should have. In hindsight, I should have seen it coming. And that doesn't mean I don't agree with the things that she says about Israel. That's called the limited hang, right? The limited hang. They say true things, but they make it all impeachable and dismissible with the ridiculous things. And what are they doing? They're tainting the jury pool. They're making it hard. They're putting forth all these theories. I spoke with my dear sister today. She doesn't spend as much time on this stuff as I do. I was very happy to hear that she also got an icky feeling from Candace, and she was a huge Candace fan. I was like, okay, good. At least you felt it, without even doing the dig. She's just like, no, something's off on her. Something's really wrong, That giddy, smug, laughing all the time, on the edge of laughing, the mocking tone, the overconfident kind of a just thoughtless, careless. Careless is what it is. No care for these people that she's dragging in, no care for just sending her hordes of her fans against these people, putting targets on their backs, Even after what happened at that Mormon church, that nutty Mormon that went, or that nutty guy that shot up the Mormon church. Part of his justification apparently was that Tyler Robinson was a Mormon. Therefore, Mormons are the Antichrist because a Mormon killed Charlie Kirk. She's putting targets on people's backs like that, carelessly. She doesn't care. She doesn't give a fuck. I'm just having a hard time believing it's just trauma. You cut slack for trauma. Denial. What are the stages? Bargaining. This is the bargaining stage, maybe. But no, it's too careless for that. Especially because it happens to her, allegedly. But see what this does? Once you realize that Candace has lied about all these other things, she is absolutely, for sure, lying. Absolutely lying. She lied about Tyler Robinson never using the word vehicle. She omitted that. She knows I left the message in her thing. The video's right there. She doesn't give out any information that impeaches her theory. She goes, I was wrong about that. But she keeps going, it's just unbelievable. It's nonsense. But it's so easily impeachable, so easily dismissed, that it throws every other thing that she ever said about Israel and all of her other communications, and how she was threatened and how she was strong-armed and, coerced and manipulated. It puts all of the rest of that in doubt. And who benefits from that? Israel. So I'm just giving you the conspiracy theory. I'm doing that. You want to blame the Jews? Fine. Let's blame the Jews. The Jews control and benefit from Candace. Has she ever been banned? All these other people criticizing the Jews have been banned. Most people who criticize the Jews get banned and debanked, thrown off YouTube, thrown off X, thrown off Facebook. Has she? No. She's been on the whole time. She got allegedly fired by Ben Shapiro. Or maybe that was part of the orchestration. Maybe the Daily Wire was part of the think tank where they said, you know what? Let's give them the all-star wrestling show of the century. Candace versus Ben. Christ is king versus no, he's not. You know? Make it really public. You'll get fired, but then go on to even greater success, playing the role of the biggest, bravest critic of Israel. You know? Maybe Candace killed Charlie Kirk. Maybe she's behind it. Maybe she was sad about the breakup, the quiet breakup. And now she's smearing his legacy. You know, this is what you want, right? You want conspiracy theory? This is what you want, right? This is what you motherfuckers want. Okay, go with that. She hates Turning Point. You know? She's not really Christian. She's Catholic. Let's throw that rift in here. Let's get into Protestants versus Catholicism. Let's get into who she's married to. You want to go conspiracy theory? Okay, let's go M16 or MI6, whatever they call it. Is that her connection? Married into British royalty? Tons of money? Instant? 14 days after they were married? This is the type of thing that Candace would talk about. I just think that's really weird. Don't you think that's weird? I think that's weird. I think that's weird. I don't know, but I know. I don't know, but I know, you know? What'd you have for breakfast today, Merkley? Well, let's see. I don't know. Can't remember what time I woke up. What? Do you think I'm supposed to believe that you don't have a phone next to your head? What, you didn't look at it? Oh, you just conveniently forgot what time you woke up. Actually, look, I got up, I went and made bacon and eggs. Oh, what, do you live on a farm? Bacon, eggs? What, you got to eat 2 animals? Who believes this? Do you expect me to believe you can't choose between a chicken and an egg? Where do you live, San Francisco? You don't have farms in San Francisco. Who eats bacon and eggs? Everybody that lives around you is vegan. You expect me to believe that you're cooking bacon and eggs in San Francisco? Who believes this shit? Yeah, and then I had some orange juice. So, do you have an orange tree in your backyard? Do you have an orange tree in your backyard? No, I just got the orange juice from the store. I had a glass of milk too. Oh, 2 liquids, orange juice and... What, you making a creamsicle? None of this makes any sense, Merkley. None of this makes any sense. I'm supposed to believe that you had a traditional old breakfast in San Francisco. You don't remember what time you woke up. Okay. This is the type of shit she does. There's no substance behind it. It's tone, it's implication, it's insinuation, this allegedly. Like today on her show, like, now, I don't want you to believe, yesterday she's positive that there's a woman that helped Tyler get dressed. She invented this timeline completely. I screen grabbed that kid's video when I had the chance, and I'm glad I did. She misrepresents. She says the lady goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were filming." She doesn't say that at all. She goes, You're filming. That's it. Not, oh, you're filming. Just, you're filming. As if one could say she noticed that while she was telling her story about conjecturing, maybe about what she heard, she goes, if there was a girl, I'm wondering how long, I wonder if she gave him anything. In other words, the video starts while she's already into the topic. We don't know what the topic is because the film starts already into it. But Candace spins it into her story. Oh, this woman saw a woman with Tyler. No, she never said anything of the sort. But that doesn't stop Candace. She just makes up her own story and says it over and over again. She never retracts it. If she doesn't like it any longer, she doesn't do a correction the next day. No, she just moves on to the next line of confusion. What's the next character we can throw in here to confuse people, to get them fighting, to get them distrusting Donald Trump? Honestly, that's what a lot of this looks like to me, is just really driving people against Donald Trump and his administration. You know, Kash Patel, she's been demanding that the FBI and the ADL cut ties. So Kash Patel does. He says, we're cutting ties. We didn't like this shit. That was the last straw. Putting Turning Point on as a hate group? No, we're done with it. But what does Candace do? Not like, oh, great. This is great. This is good news. No, she goes, oh, that's awfully convenient. You did it for me because I said it. You see the conspiracy here? You see how it all looks like a fucking big cartoon? A big cartoon to drive conservatives away from the man in the administration that is doing more for conservatism or more for Americanism, American nationalism than any other president in my lifetime, possibly in the last century. Candace is doing everything she can to undermine that. And it's working. To my dismay, it is working. And it's also just interesting that anytime I make a stupid fucking video with Candace's name in it, there's a couple of numbnuts that just come by and say, oh, another Zionist channel. As if they have no ability to discern that my main problem with Candace is she's giving support to Israel. She's doing the good work for the chosen tribalists. Am I supposed to just believe that she's a useful idiot? She might be. She might be. But that's hard to believe. That's hard to believe. With how sloppy she's being, with how laser focused she is on the Jewish thing, on the Israel thing, but how obviously sloppy, obviously intentionally just creating doubt on the narrative with anything. It doesn't matter. Oh, you took an Instagram photo of that thing? Oh, you did an interview. You talked about this on a YouTube channel? Well, the fact that she quoted Redacted, that other show that could not possibly seem more fed, the only things that seem more fed than Redacted and George Webb, I hate to say it, are probably my friend Peter Duke, who knows George Webb very well. Oh, man, I don't know. He's the guy that invited me to January 6th. Took pictures, had full access, got me on the phone with Ollie Alexander, Enrico Tario. Somehow he had all their phone numbers, And now what is he doing? What's his whole mission right now? To drive people against Trump. Because Trump's being effective. He's getting shit done. like nobody. But Merkel, that doesn't make any sense because they used to be pro-Trump. Yeah, don't make me explain it. I can't explain everything here. You're the one that wants a conspiracy theory. I don't, you know. I'm the one going for Occam's razor. Occam's razor says you brainwash a child into believing that he was born terrible. You white Christian male. You disgusting white Christian male. You straight, cisgendered white Christian male. How dare you? You're the scum of the earth. Stop calling me that, please. What do I gotta do? Well, if you go kill Charlie Kirk, that would be a pretty, I don't know. Might put your face on a t-shirt. Might get some Luigi points with that. Okay, I'll get my grandpa's gun, take a nice stroll, easy walk up onto a rooftop at a Utah university where, you know, it'd be reasonable for Charlie Kirk's team to suspect that, you know, it was a more friendly crowd. I'm going to be one of the most Christian cities in the whole world. Throw over Utah, Happy Valley. What could possibly go wrong? You know? One shot, simple shot I could take. All my friends, I had a friend, Ted. Hi, Ted. Arguing about, he was saying, oh, there's no way I would have blown right through his neck. And all my relatives say, and I've shot deers with 30-06, and so have I. And I compared my 33 story, and he said his 30-06 story, and blah, blah, blah. And he had doubts about it. And I said, Ted, could you take that shot? Yes, he could. So could I. So could any of my friends who had hunted. My stepbrothers could. Every one of my stepbrothers could have taken that shot. There's not a person I know from Utah, growing up in Utah with a little bit of a gun culture background, you know, especially rural, that couldn't have taken that shot. And yet, no, don't use the obvious explanation. Don't use the explanation to which all the evidence points. Go for a different theory that is supported by no evidence. No evidence for the side shot. No evidence for the underneath shot. No evidence for the exploding lapel. No evidence for the sink shot. No evidence for the drone shots. No evidence for the Azov battalion. Nobody's coming forward and saying that guy in the photo is a guy that served in my unit in Ukraine. Ignore the fact that his parents say it is him. Ignore the fact that all of his friends and neighbors said he went hard left. Ignore Lance Twiggs' family that say that he was disowned from the family. Ignore everything else. Ignore the fact that any kid could take that shot. Ignore the fact that you could walk straight onto the roof with no problem. Ignore the fact that there was no security stopping him. Go for the theory. Go for the theory. Netanyahu and Mossad, they had a whole bunch of people that swooped down from helicopters. They dressed as ninjas, and some of them had invisible cloaks. And there was 5 drones doing sink shots. Nobody heard any of them, though, because they were silent guns, hidden in the palms. The people right next to them, they had 5 guns. They all went into the same hole. Not just a guy taking a shot, a halfway decent shot. He hit his target. Who knows what he was aiming for? It could have been aiming for the chest. You know? And if he was aiming for the chest, for the middle of the chest, he got not a very good grouping by getting the neck. Lucky shot, good shot, you know? Lucky for Charlie, he didn't have to suffer as much, probably dead instantly. But no, believe the conspiracy. Believe that one, it's better. The FBI, there's drug runners and ROTC and Azov Battalion, all these different organizations, hundreds of people. There's hundreds of people in on it, thousands of people. You know, they're all meeting in rooms with their computers, sending out cryptic emails to each other. When are you going to do it? Okay, he's coming down. We have the target. We're all watching, you know. So George Webb is literally saying, you know, every house. Okay, we got to make sure every house on his route belongs to one of our people. Get the valve companies. The guys that run the valve companies, all those people, the Steels of Orem, Utah, they'll do it. Let's have a meeting. We'll hold it in a secret lair. And we'll swear all the families to secrecy. And we'll drink the blood of babies. That's a better story. Oh, that's a good story. I like that one, Merkley. Let's go with that one. And there's 3 Tylers. One of them looks like this. Tyler's a patsy. That's a patsy. There's 5 patsies. Anyway, I'm very concerned for the conservative movement right now. The only hope is that in the comment section, I'm seeing rational people. But I'm not seeing rational debate from the pundits, from the talking heads, from the ones that are in control of the conversation. They are all being overly fair to the theorists who aren't presenting any evidence. They're taking them far too seriously. They aren't mocking people who are presenting very, very, very stupid theories that are very, very easily disproven. They are not holding those people's feet to the fire. The ones that keep doubling down on a bad theory. Look, go ahead, come up with a theory, but as soon as you realize some evidence has come out that's debunked your theory, how about just going, hey, I was wrong. That theory doesn't work. I saw it from another angle. Nobody in the bush. Bush is still there. 5 different videos with the bush. No guy in the bush. Go ahead, check that one off. Oh, nobody's called in and said, that ain't Tyler. That's somebody else. But everybody that knew him said it is. Ignore it. Anyway, I'm getting repetitive. Go ahead and theorize. I don't give a fuck anymore. I actually do. That's a lie. I just lied. I do give a fuck. I'm super concerned. It's bumming me out. I need to get off the internet. But I'm telling you, I don't want to, because I don't want this brainwashing nonsense to continue. If we don't get the flags out of the kindergarten and this brainwashing that's happening on TikTok and in the curriculums in the school systems and in the algorithms, if we don't do it, there's thousands of other Tyler Robinsons out there. And if you're chasing around the feds and arguing about this and trying to say Trump's sucking Netanyahu's wiener, if you get, Cash Patel, Pam Bondi's doing fucking great shit if you're paying actually attention, the things she's doing for Second Amendment stuff, the most important stuff, by the way, the most important thing is the Second Amendment. The most important thing. And she's doing fantastic things in those regards. Oh, but she's dumb. She looks stupid when she gets on TV. Granted, so what? She's doing good things. Keep her off TV. Big deal. But no, everybody's trying to undermine it. Trump. Israel controls Trump. I don't care. Put a little pressure on him. I don't mind. But if you're taking your eye off the ball, they're going to continue mutilating these kids' genitals. Okay? They're going to continue slicing off their tits. They're going to continue turning these people into eunuchs, and they're going to continue making these kids into automated Zoomer zombies out to kill Christians. So don't take your eye off the ball. Stop falling for Candace's bullshit. Okay? Thanks. Thanks for listening. Unnecessary outro song to total